Made on Zencastr.
Dave, you know why I love using Zencastr?
Is it because the recording quality is better than other methods of recording a podcast virtually?
Nope.
Is it because they offer a free version for hobbyists just getting started?
No, not that.
Is it because it's super easy to use for everyone and none of our guests have ever had an issue using it?
That's not it.
Is it because they offer automatic post-production and transcription services?
Negative.
Stop burying the lead. Why do you love Zencastr?
It's because Zencastr is all of the things you just said, Dave. Well, and they sponsor this pod. That's right, Adventures in Collecting is powered by Zencastr. How about your pod? Get started now with Zencastr and use our code to start podcasting today. Visit Zencastr.com/pricing and use promo code AICPOD to get 30% off your first 3 months of their professional plan or try it for free. That's Zencastr.com/pricing and use promo code AICPOD.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls.
Along with our journeys as collectors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Hello.
Dave, we're here again.
We are.
In this,
and we are not alone.
In this ether known as the void of podcasting sound coming to you.
Yes.
I'm real tired.
Haven't heard that sort of nonsense since my philosophy class in college.
Well, sometimes nonsense is fun, Dave, and then, but also sometimes nonsense is business. And you make business out of what most people would consider nonsense. And that's what we're doing here. I'm real tired, guys. I'm running on very little sleep. As I've mentioned many times on this show before, I have 2 children. And one of them just doesn't like to sleep. So I'm to say I'm running on fumes would be gracious. but we're here, and we are not alone, Dave. We're not.
No.
We have a returning guest actually with us today, making his second appearance on the show. He's designed some of our favorite toys for Super 7. Actually, last year a figure that ended up in both of our top 10s in Papa Emeritus. Kyle Wlodyga, welcome back to the show, and we're super excited to chat with you again.
Hey guys, hello. I realize I'm waving and no one can see me, just you. I guess I'm just waving to you. It's great. What's up, guys? Also, I did want to ask, did Papa Emeritus II make it onto your top 10 for 22? Because Papa 1 made it onto your top 10 for 21. And, it took me a second. I thought that I talked to you guys last year, but it's been more than a year.
Yeah, it has been more than a year. No, he was in my my top 10 he was
Was he in mine?
I had two Super 7 figures in my top 10. I had Optimus Prime and I had Papa Emeritus. So
both are Wlodyga joints. I'll take it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sorcerer Mickey made mine.
Yeah, that was your Super 7 entry. Yeah, no, mine had Papa Emeritus and had Optimus Prime. So
there you go.
2 awesome figures. I mean, a giant robot with a surfboard and a basketball, and recently dearly departed character lead singer from a band. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it, Papa 2 as well, but I think it was just I was so floored by Papa 1.
Sure. Yeah, and there's a little bit maybe a little bit more perceived value in Papa 1 because you get the 2 vestments versus
Yep.
just the 1. But you get the staff, which I learned recently for no reason is called a ferula. That's the Latin version. It's the popes have their sticks and they're called ferulas. So there you
Nice.
go. Every day is a school day.
He's a ruler with a ferula.
That's right. Okay. I regret already telling the facts. So,
Yeah.
okay.
I have a habit of making people regret things, Kyle. So
No, that's off to a great start. So, what's up, everybody? What's up, guys?
So speaking of toys and figures, before we get into your what you've been up to at Super7 since the last time we spoke to you, we are all collectors, and we like to talk about the things that we recently picked up. So what are some of your most recent pickups?
Oh man, I have way too much. I have way too much stuff. Just today I got the second 3-pack of Marvel Legends, the Gambit, Banshee, Psylocke one. So for my X-Men 275. So now that team is complete. That's like literally today. And then something I got last week that's been really sitting well with me is the Spider-Punk from Into
Awesome
the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
this thing. And I had the first Spider-Punk, and I don't know what happened to it. And then I was like, oh, maybe I should pick up another one of those. And it was like $200. And I was like, I don't need another one of those. I'm good. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else, but I think those are the ones worth mentioning, or the ones I can talk about. How's that?
Fair. Yeah, that's
Fair.
that's Spider-Punk, and honestly, the entire I have that entire wave of the Cross the Spider-Verse figures. I have not opened Cyborg Spider-Woman yet, but I love how those wonky, skewed designs of those characters translate into the figures. They did a nice job of of doing that.
Yeah, I have 2099 here too because he seems like he's going to be a big part of the movie.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
he's cool, but this Spider-Punk like outshines him like a lot. Can't see it here because this is a podcast and nobody can see this. But you guys who do have camera also can't see this. But this half is like where I work and I do all my Super7 stuff. But then this half of the desk is like, it's technically my gaming computer, but it's just piled toys on top of each other. Because I have a PlayStation 5, so I don't really need to like use my PC that much anymore. And so it's really just figure storage on this side. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think I've cleaned it in months. So shout out to my toy designers out there who just have piles of toys for no reason.
We know a thing or two about a pile of toys too.
Boy, do I. Yeah.
Yeah. No, those are some awesome pickups.
What'd you guys get? What you guys got?
So most recently, I did pick up the McFarlane Batmobile and the 89 style, the Batman from the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I got the Keaton as well.
Yeah,
Nice.
the Keaton Batman is great. It shows that they can sell a figure for their normal price with a cloth cape. They need to like start just doing that.
Yeah.
Like the figure moves so much better, and honestly, the material that they use for the cape is nice. It's almost like a jersey material.
Okay.
So you hold it up to the light and you can see those like holes in it, but it drapes nicely. Figure's great. Batmobile, I think the Batmobile is awesome for a $60 Batmobile. Yeah, it's got that annoying gray canopy that everyone has been pointing out, but honestly, it's like the old school Kenner Batmobile on steroids, and that's exactly what you want. And it's a little tiny for their Batman. I actually find that the 112 Batman fits better in it. So I don't have the Mezco one, but I have the SH Figure Arts, and he fits in it beautifully. Like I think that actually works out really well. So those are like the two things that have just kind of been top of mind as of late for me.
Okay.
What about you?
So I got I actually got a delivery from Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Last week from a friend of mine who was out there, and I happened to get 4 Reaction Tron figures. So I have the 4 single card figures.
Okay, good.
They were at the parks, and I was like, "Can you please get me these?"
Yeah, no, not the bike ones.
No, they didn't have any more of those.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've been anyone that goes, I let them know. I ask if you see these, please.
Yeah. If it makes you feel any better, I also don't have those, and I work there. So.
Yeah, they were up on Shop Disney for like
30 seconds.
Hot second.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah. We sort of expected that to happen, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean those Tomy, right? Tomy was the original. Yeah,
the original ones
that did the Jolly Rancher Tron. Yeah, figures. So those are just seeing figures again in that form factor, and it's incredible. Like I hope that line
characters that have not had figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like, you guys do such a good job over there of doing like the glow in the dark and like the light reactive figures. Like I feel like the world is your oyster when it comes to expanding that line and paint variants and plastic variants and
a whole second movie.
That's right. I hope so. If somehow Tron becomes my segue into making Daft Punk figures, like I'll take it. I don't care. Whatever it takes at this point.
Hey, they cameo. They're canon.
I know. I mean, it's a bummer you have to do them in like their white outfits or whatever, or black. They're white. They're wearing white in that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But it's the same helmets. Their helmets.
It is. It's the same helmets. And then hopefully we can just be like, hey, look, we already have the heads tooled. Just like let us make the leather jackets or the the Seinfeld puffy shirts they wear when they first become robots in Discovery. I don't know. Daft Punk was sort of my Ghost before Ghost, where I like know all of their lore and that stuff. So that's definitely a bucket list to get ahead of questions that are coming in like an hour.
Yeah, I mean that's a concert bucket list for me. I always wanted to see them live. I don't know if the way that they're talking, I don't know if they'll ever.
No, I don't think they ever will.
Yeah.
My one of my biggest regrets in life ever was 2007. I was junior in high school, 17, so like on the cusp of like adulthood and doing your own thing and all that stuff. And I had a friend who had 2 tickets to this festival in Vegas called Vegas or whatever, stupid. It was some random festival, but it was electronic and Daft Punk was playing there. And he was literally only going to go see Daft Punk. And I was like, well, I don't know. And my mom was like, well, I don't know if you should. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I should either. She goes, but you can choose. She like, I don't blame her, but she kind of like mind tricked me. Like, oh, if you want to go. And I was like, no. And I didn't go. And my friend had the best time of his life. I still like, he bought me a shirt that I still wear. It has so many holes in it. It is beyond like repair, but still one of my greatest regrets was not going to that because they never played live again after 2007.
Yep. Ugh. I'm sorry for you. I was never that close to having the ability to see them. It was always just kind of like a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a tough one for me.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really did have a like legit shot either, to be honest.
I know. And now I'm extra sad because I feel like I let both you guys down too for not going.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have lived vicariously through your enjoyment of Daft Punk, but here we all are just being disappointed.
I guess just making action figures will have to suffice. So Daft Punk, you can make it up to me by giving us the license and letting us make your action figures.
Daft Punk, if you're listening, first of all, thank you. Second of all,
why?
Second of all, let Kyle make figures of you. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, making figures is a perfect segue into this next question, which is remind our listeners, because it's been a while. What do you cover over there at Super 7?
Man, it's a wide breadth, and I think I told you about when I first started Super 7, like the first year I worked at Super 7, I did like 30 brands or something like that. And as we've grown, that the amount of brands that I've on has kind of gotten more and more siloed a little bit. So I am now an associate art director. I'm not just a product designer. I kind of oversee how the lines are looked at and how they evolve, and kind of do some of the line planning for some of the brands, as well as the like design part. And specifically, I'm in charge of Toho, Power Rangers, heavy metal. So like Ghost, we mentioned before, King Diamond, Cliff Burton, Motorhead, all those guys, and Ninja Turtles, as well as some of the one-off horror things. So if you're familiar with like our Nosferatu or Metal of the Mutant, I did those. And I realize I'm like looking around the room like a psychopath. Like, what have I worked on? Because it's like all around me. Oh, Conan. I do Conan as well. I can't believe I forgot that. We just had a whole launch this week. But maybe cut that part out. Who knows? So
That's okay. We're gonna talk about Conan. We got you. Don't worry.
That's fine.
Get to Conan.
That's fine. So yeah, I do a little bit of everything. Those are the brands I mainly work on, but I'm in the conversations for Thundercats and G.I. Joe and basically everything Ultimates now. I'm at least part of the conversation in the peripheral, saying, "Hey, what about this? Hey, what about that?" Yeah. So I own those, but I touch a little bit of everything when it comes to Ultimates.
You got your hand in the pot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting burned.
So you mentioned the Turtles, so we'll start there.
Yeah.
Super 7 recently revealed a new wave. Tell us who's in it and a little bit about what inspired the design for those.
Oh
figures.
man, now it's a test. Hold on. I did those so long ago. Hold on, let me. No, I know this. I know this, don't I? I know this. Hold on. Wave 10 is the red shirt Casey Jones, classic rocker Leo, Karai, and Ninja April. Right? Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Ding, ding, ding.
Cool. Perfect.
Yep.
Awesome. Nailed it. I remembered my own work. So those ones are unique in that like we're looking for some opportunities to like revisit older characters that were earlier in the line that perhaps need a refresher or just a different look. So like Casey Jones, like that Mirage look where he's got the red shirt and the blue pants and like the white Nikes and stuff is like kind of like in my brain is like the first comic Casey I ever saw. And so that just made a lot of sense. And, Casey was in wave 4. We're now on wave 10, double digits. It's actually my first double digit wave of anything. So that's pretty cool. But it's been 6 waves since Casey was available. So we felt that it was time to give him an update, give people another opportunity. So you get that new recolor and you get a little bit more added value with the like battle damage head where the mask is like cracked half off. So that was fun. That is not from anything. We just made that up because we thought it looked cool. And then let's see, April. Again, April was in wave 3. A lot of people, 1, don't have that figure, or 2, weren't stoked on that first figure. And so we wanted to try and give it another chance to like make something new with April. But it also still feels familiar. So a lot of people I've seen have brought up how, oh, this seems like can someone tell me which vintage figure this is? Can't tell which one it is. It's not. We made it up. It just sort of looks like a vintage figure, which I feel like is kind of the best compliment I can get. Where it's like, oh man, that looks just like an old Playmates thing. It's like, but it's not. Made that all up. So that was a lot of fun. And she kind of gets her cool martial arts training outfit, which is sort of inspired from like a bunch of different touch points in the TMNT kind of lore, where she hangs out with these dudes who know how to fight, like they're master ninjas. So of course they're going to teach her how to fight so she can stop getting captured by Shredder or foot soldiers or whatever. So she's had like a few iterations where she learns how to do stuff. And so each of her accessories is like inspired by one of the turtles who taught her how to do stuff. So
that's cool.
That's pretty fun.
Awesome.
And then Karai, kind of a fan favorite character that's never really had a toy ish before. Like I think there's been some for like 2003 line, maybe even like Rise or something like that, but nothing that looks like this where she's like in her black outfit with the red lining, kind of really inspired from the like City at War kind of books from Mirage a little bit. There's like that comic book cover where she's like holding the bow and like got her like leg up or whatever. It's pretty much like designed exactly off of that. Plus some like kind of vintage inspired ninja accessories and that fun stuff. And she's actually the one I'm the most proud of, because when that character got pitched to me by another coworker who loves turtles, I was like, Karai? Like, what? Who cares? Like, why? But then I like read more about her and then like saw more of the designs. It's like, oh, she's like this badass foot soldier. She's like cooler than Shredder and she doesn't need all this fancy armor. I'm like, all right, fine. Karai rules. And it turned out to be a lot of fun to work on. And then lastly is Classic Rocker Leo, which is directly pulled from like a vintage toy, where he had this like crazy like bandana and like the guitar neck swords and all that. So we have all those like vintage hits, but then like in those like notes that give you the nostalgia. But the thing that I'm most proud of about that guy, and I think that the thing that makes this the coolest Leo, as cool as any Leo can be, is the guitar body where you can slot the swords into it. And now it's like a double neck guitar.
Yep.
Like Robert or Jimmy Page played one of those. Yeah. That was the thought. So as cool as any Leo has ever been, he gets a double neck guitar. So, and scene. Oh, that was a lot.
You did it.
We did. You got there.
Take a drink of water.
We got there.
Take a deep breath.
Thank you.
No, I mean it's really cool to see. You know, I think when the, you know, at least the perception, you know, from the outside in, I think, you know, when people think of the Super 7 Ultimates Turtles, they kind of think of it as this kind of 1-to-1 representation of like, here, you know, here's the 5-inch figure I had in the late 80s, early 90s. Here's the 7-inch modern articulated version of that figure. And I think there's, you know, we've said it multiple times on the show, but like everybody's making something that's Turtles related at this point, including Playmates, you know, are still using those original, which we didn't actually know until we had them on the show, that like they're still using the original molds, like those original plates like are still being used to make those figures, which is wild when you think about the amount of plastic that's gone through them over the years.
Well, that's a testament to how just how expensive it is to tool anything. It is cheaper to use molds from 40 years ago than make new stuff, guys.
Yep.
So,
but I think it's interesting to see now, you know, as you know, the line develops, that you're starting to go into kind of these new original territories, you know, and start to kind of flex not just your ability as an artist, but also kind of that creativity of like, there's so much Turtles out there.
Yeah.
Like, what if this was this? And I mean, that leads us to the question of, you know, originally when this wave was announced, we saw Rat King. And, you know, you and I actually had a very lengthy conversation about this, you know, sidebar, about how it was based off of, you know, the face was based off of the newer video game, the Shredder's Revenge. And it's an awesome design. Like, you know, I know that the internet kind of ran with sexy Rat King, which like he deserves. Everyone deserves to be sexy in someone's eyes.
In hindsight, I actually really love that name. And there was, I don't remember who sent it to me. Was it you or did I find it? But someone sent me the like Homer stupid sexy Rat King, and I was like, all right, that's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, that's internet's gonna internet, and that's okay. Like, and I think we talked about it last time, where it's like you're working on this stuff and you put so much time and effort into it, and you have like an idea of like what's worked in the past and what you think is going to work for the thing you're working on right now. And sometimes you're wrong, and that's okay. And you know, I'm grateful to our fans for telling us how they felt about it, and not just deciding to be done with the line altogether, but giving constructive criticism so that, you know, we have an opportunity to respond, and we did. So Brian Flynn, our great leader, in his infinite wisdom, decided that we were going to pull that one back and rework it and put Karai back in. which I'm very happy about because, like I said, she's my favorite one out of that whole wave so far. So, it's good. It stings at first, right? And I think I was pretty emotional when I was talking to you guys about that stuff at the time. But in hindsight, it's definitely like, I don't know. It's a good exercise in, responding to fans, working with the constructive criticism, and also learning to like separate yourself a little bit. And I think you guys mentioned it before. It was just like, once something goes out there, like it's not yours anymore. Like the fans own it, right?
Yeah.
And if the fans who now own this sexy Rat King decide to just tear it a new one, that's their prerogative, right? So nothing to be done about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that goes for fandoms in general. Regardless of what the fandom is, the internet has given, for better or for worse, has given everyone access to these communities and to these creators, and it's a direct feed to say whether they love something or they hate something.
Yeah.
So it's just is what it is.
It is.
It also kind of speaks to the kind of wide variety that you can, or the many directions you can go with the Turtles, in the sense that, okay, we can just plug something in, but at the same time, it's like, here are all of these other things aside from this thing that that can be this, can be part of this line. It doesn't just have to be one thing, which is kind of the amazing part of it. Like we were saying before, everybody's doing Turtles, but like, to kind of bring it to a new place is interesting and exciting.
Honestly, that for me as a designer, that's the most exciting part. It's sort of like, I realize that there's some people who are like pushing back hard on like, oh, this isn't the vintage toy just redone like I was promised in the beginning, but like we've also been adding new accessories, adding new heads, adding new parts to these figures that, like, while yes they feel like they fit within the vintage realm, they're also completely new, and they sort of take the figures into a new direction. Like examples that come to mind are like, we've been doing this as early as like wave 3 with April. She had her like headset head that was never in the vintage toy. We had wave 5 Samurai Leo had the mask, which never in the vintage toy, but it turns it into a completely different figure. It feels even cooler, but it still feels like very vintage in the same lane. Ace Duck coming with the machine gun and the like cigar head, which everybody loved, but that's never part of that character. We just like, oh, that looks cool. Like, let's maybe what if he did this, and we had that, and everybody liked it. But then there's kind of like a disconnect when it's like a whole figure, I think. But overall, I think I've seen more positivity for like a brand new figure like Ninja April than like something that was vintage expired, like Rat King, where it was very much vintage, but there was like one tweak that they didn't necessarily like, and that's okay. To that point, though, the Gorilla in Wave 7, completely new. Everything about that is brand new, and one of the better selling ones, actually.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Yep.
And that's all to say. Even as much research as we do, or you can do, like sometimes you just can't predict what's gonna work, what's not gonna work. And this is all a big experiment. And we're all figuring it out as we all go along. But that said, I'm still grateful for those people who have supported the line from Wave 1, because I've been with the line from Wave 1. So it's been a crazy journey. Like I said, my first wave of or line of figures that are double digits, which is no small feat. Most lines don't make it that far. So it's pretty rad.
That is, it's a huge accomplishment. Huge
100%. So speaking of our sexy friend Rat King, what does the future hold for him? What is that figure? If you can provide us with one, is there an update on what's going on with him?
Sure. I can't necessarily speak to like the design specifically, but we are taking a little bit more of a reference point from the vintage figure that people kind of expect. I can't really exactly say what he's coming with, how close it is to the vintage figure, but I will say that it is going to be in wave 11 now.
Okay.
So won't have to wait that long to see Rat King, and that's just the plan for now. Barring any acts of God or licensor issues, scheduling issues, any of that stuff. Just in our post-pandemic world, anything can happen with figures and things that are shipped overseas and logistics and all that. But that's the plan for now, is that he's going to join the rest of Wave 11 in the future, not too distant future.
So from stupid sexy Rat King to sexy Conan. I think that worked. We just recently got our first glimpse at Wave 5 of the Conan figures. So tell us what's going on with that wave.
Oh man, I'm gonna try and keep it as simpler than what I did with my Turtles one, because that was a lot. But that one it's just a continuation of the Conan line. There's some familiar characters, but there's 2 brand new characters, and they're people who have never had toys before, which I'm very excited to be able to bring to people. So first up, we'll do the ones that you already know, which is Thulsa Doom, who now comes with this beautiful soft goods cape that is wired, because he in the whole wave is from the kind of climactic battle scene, the Battle of the Mounds, where Conan does his prayer to Crom right before he goes and fights all those guys. One of my favorite parts of the movie. But Thulsa Doom during that part is up on a hill on a horse with this black and red cape with white trim and these gold frills and stuff. It's very majestic, and he's just out there shooting snakes at the princess who's chained to a rock. It's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But
if you've never seen the movie and you're hearing this and thinking this kind of sounds like a fever dream, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
It's probably one of the best swords and sorcery movies ever in the best way,
hands down.
So the Thulsa Doom more or less is the same as the first Thulsa Doom, except for he'll come with new hands. He'll come with his bow and a snake to shoot out of it, and then he has the new cape. And don't 100% hold me to this, but the plan right now is to update him to be pinless.
Oh wow! Okay.
So because that first original one had pins, but again, barring any acts of God and other post-pandemic weirdness that could happen, we'll see. That's the plan right now, though. I prepared this because so we talked about this a long time ago. My first time I came on here, Mythic Legion's Balius, which is the brown horse, right? Was on my top 10 in 2021, because who knew that you needed a good articulated horse figure, right? Cut to, I know that and when I got that, I was like, oh, I know that they're going to do a black one eventually because it's Mythic Legions.
Yep.
And I was like, how sick would it be if you could have Thulsa Doom on the black horse with the cape blowing in the wind and all that stuff. So cut to me getting prototype of the soft goods cape today.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, very excited about this. I have to send this back to the factory, but this was I don't know. It's a weird phenomenon to describe, but it's when you work on something or you think of it in your head as a toy designer and then you get to have it here, it's like literal dreams come true, because you're oh, I thought of this because I thought this would look cool, and then here it is, he sits on the horse and it works, right? So
love a wired cape.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was just pulling it up so I could kind of look at it while you were describing it too.
That's awesome.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll put this here so you can see it the whole podcast. And I do this at my own detriment, because you've seen me talk with my hands a lot, and I'm probably just going to smack him right off the horse. But we'll see how long that takes for me to do that.
So we've got Conan, we've got Thulsa Doom.
Right. I just talked about Thulsa Doom. I haven't even gotten into the rest of the wave. Conan, similar body, new armor, new likeness sculpt. I love that head sculpt. It's one of the best head sculpts we've ever done. It's a as I described it when we were working on it, it's a head sculpt you can hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna like blow out your speakers by doing an Arnold impression because everybody has one and they're all correct. None of them are bad.
Yeah.
Right? It's just guttural noises, and it's like, oh, Arnold, I didn't know you were here. So that's fun. Excited to see that guy. That head sculpt is incredible. That's like, if I achieve nothing else, I made the like best looking. I helped direct the best looking Arnold head sculpt, and that was sculpted by a guy named Tom Schunard, who is on Instagram. He's awesome, super talented. This whole wave was sculpted in house, actually, other than Thulsa Doom because he's a reissue, and the whole team crushed it. So shout out to them who had an awesome time sculpting all of the new Conan stuff. And speaking of new, 2 new characters. Jerry Lopez finally gets his figure. Subutai.
He's waited a long time.
That's right. I saw someone commented like he should come with a Jerry Lopez surfboard, and I was like, that'd have been great. But I might just give Optimus' surfboard.
There you go.
To Subutai. But yeah, Subutai is a brand new figure, completely new body, brand new armor pieces, new like leaner physique for the Conan line, and he has all of his accessories. His like little, I think it's probably like a normal size sword, but to like compared to like the Atlantean sword, it looks like a butter knife. His little butter knife like goes into his sheath. He like it'll come with a real elastic string so we can like shoot the arrows and stuff. I'm really excited about that one just because that guy's never had a toy. He's always deserved one. And then last but not least is Valeria, who was like number 1 on my want list after I saw that movie for the first time. And she's in this like bright silver armor for, I think it's like a total of like 7 seconds. Super worth it. And, if anything, this will enable us to like, now we have these head sculpts. Now we have these body types. Now we can make like the raiding party 3-pack because we have Warpaint Conan, whereas like Warpaint Subutai and Valeria and stuff. But that only works if these ones sell. So everybody go to Super7.com, pre-order Wave 5 right now. If you pre-order all 4 figures, you get bonus battle gear. We're calling these the Super Pack. You get bloody versions of all of the weapons that come in this wave. Plus, you get the Conan's father's sword from the scene. You get the complete one before it breaks, and then you get the broken one after. And so that when he gets like when you have your Battle of the Mounds recreation, you can have him do the like sword. But you can put the arms up with both the swords, right, where he praises Crom or thanks him for granting him revenge, right? Is that what he was doing? He doesn't actually say anything.
He just brandishes.
Yeah.
He just brandishes.
Oh, good use of the word brandish. That was.
My brain's not that fried. I could still get a couple good words out every now and then. I can word now. No, it's an awesome looking wave. Like I said, actually, the last time you were on, that Warpaint Conan, that face that you could hear is like, if you could hear that one, this is like could fill an arena.
That's So that touches on like, that's one of my favorite things working with this new sculpt team that we have internally is I'll take those, like that head sculpt. I found that head sculpt and I sent it to the sculptors and I was like, this is good, right? Just like put the helmet on this. And he was like, all right, cool, sure, whatever. And then like he did that, but then he was like, also, I did this on my own time and I like updated the likeness. What do you think? And it was like, can I curse on this? I don't remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck this thing. This is incredible. This is Arnold. Like he's done that a couple times with stuff that I've done. It's like, oh, I'm really proud of this head sculpt. And he's like, about to ruin your day. Let me show you how much better it could be. And I was like, I thought that was a good one. Dang it. So
he's the Pedro Pascal meme.
Yeah.
What if it were better?
Yeah, exactly. Life is good, but it can be better. That is 100%. So it's very fun. I'm really proud of that head sculpt. And now I kind of wish we could just like go back and do that screaming Arnold head just for everything. not even like old Conan figures, but like Optimus Prime, you get Screamy Arnold. Papa Emeritus, you get Screamy Arnold. Like,
where can we fit Screaming Arnold in?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That's the super pack incentive bonus for everything now, is you get another version of that Screamy Arnold head.
From the Pinnacle to the
Yep, exactly. Oh man. So anyways, I'm very stoked on Conan Wave 5, and I think you should be too.
Yes. And like Kyle mentioned, the something that Super 7 has been doing lately, which is awesome, is that, if you pre-order directly through them, there's that nice little bonus that's exclusive.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out at super7.com. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so from we're gonna see how this one works now.
We're gonna go. You've been doing some segue gymnastics, and it's impressive.
I was gonna throw the pre-order due date in there too.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go for it, because I don't know that.
Yeah, through Friday, June 2nd at 6 p.m.
That's right. That's what. Yeah, you heard it here first, or I don't know. We said it first. Why did I say first?
You heard it here.
15th. I don't know.
Yeah,
you heard it here eventually.
Yeah, that's right.
As our buddy Toy Shiz likes to say, it's one of the best toy podcasts.
Yeah,
out there. We're one of them, just one of many. So from giant swords to giant monsters.
There we go. Well done. That's a professional, everybody.
There it is.
We mentioned that or I should say you mentioned. We didn't mention anything. You mentioned that that Toho is one of your wheelhouses there over at Super 7, and what you guys have shown off so far. I got to see a bunch of it at New York Comic Con. When you had it on display, they're looking awesome. And as you and I have discussed at great length, how much I love all things Godzilla.
Yeah.
It's been a little while though since we've had an update.
Yeah.
So where are we at with waves 1 and 2? And can we expect to see kind of anything teased or announced in the near future?
Yeah, I think we definitely can. I need to check the Super 7 pre-order status page, so I'm not giving out false information. But yeah, if you go to super7.com/pre-order status page, it'll tell you exactly where everything that you've pre-ordered is right now. So for Toho, I have seen pre-production samples, which means that they're in production now, the factory, because that was a little while ago. So the plan is to have them leave the factory at the end of May and then ship to customers around mid to late July. So you'll start to see those hit around Comic-Con time, I think. At the very, that's probably at the earliest, if not a little bit later. Again, post pandemic, I feel like everybody kind of has their expectations in line of like just delays.
Big old asterisk on those dates.
Yep. Then Wave 2, similar. I have not seen pre-production samples. I have seen a test shot here of Godzilla, but not Mecha Godzilla yet. So that's a little bit behind schedule, but that's that pre-order came later. So the plan there is for that to ship out to everybody mid-September or so. So I think you can expect to start seeing that wider release in October or so. Then the Shogun Godzilla, which we debuted at Comic-Con last year. I keep looking away from my mic. I just saw deco samples of the Shogun Godzilla, and it works, which is pretty great. Actually, well, this is the test shot. But
awesome!
Here's the.
It's so big.
Get the
love it
functioning tongue, and then this. I'm gonna try not to shoot my eye out. Get the rocket fire,
and he caught it.
Yeah. So we recently got some communication from the factory where they were like, we tried 3 springs. One of them shoots 3 feet. One of them shoots, 4 feet. One of them shoots 7 feet. And we were like, 7 feet. I want to be able to torture cats with this thing. So that's the plan. It works really well. Very excited. This mechanism thing is great. It's all the nostalgic feels.
Oh yeah.
So
That's amazing.
Very, very excited about this one.
Yeah, my reaction Shogun Godzilla is never far.
Oh yeah, here. Well,
He's never far. He's never far from my.
I realize we're on a
computer.
screen, so this will give you a better sense of your scale, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
So you're close. Well, he's like twice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun. That's coming, and that'll be shipping out in August or so to people. So expect wide release September, and then Toho Wave 3 a little bit farther down the track, probably early December, realistically like January for shipping on those. Just that destroyer is so big. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we are. So
I'm really excited to see those start to come, and I know the way that you guys kind of work, the pre-orders just kind of keep coming. So I was curious, Wave 4 is the plan? What's going on?
They do keep coming, but typically the plan is we try not to have more than 3 waves kind of outstanding on anything.
Okay.
And so once Wave 1 kind of ships out around Comic-Con time, you can probably expect to see Wave 4 get to be revealed or close to revealed, or a pre-order date revealed around the same time. I maybe I'm being too tongue in cheek here, but we'll probably show Wave 4 at Comic-Con. So
safe bet.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to bring something something new from Toho.
That's true.
Comic-Con. We got to do it.
Yeah, that's the expectation, because I think a lot of people, at least at last year's Comic-Con, were convinced by seeing them in person. Like we had Godzilla and Biollante and Burning Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, and they're like, oh, they're huge. Mm-hmm. Got it. This blows my SH Monster Arts out of the water.
Yeah, they're real big.
Yeah, and that's not to, I typically try not to tear someone down to raise myself up, but like, because I this whole shelf here, you can't really see it, all SH Monster Arts, I love them, but it's just like night and day. It's like SH Monster Arts Bio Goji is like 6-ish. It's like 5.5, 6 inches tall, and ours is 8 inches tall.
Yeah,
it's huge. So,
well, that's the thing. That's the different. That's the the ultimate scale versus the
it's just the scaling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a 1/12 scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So excited.
There's room for everyone.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay, everyone get in. Everyone get in the pool.
Yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom-and-pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at their brand new home at 101 Newark Pompton Turnpike, Suite 1 in Little Falls, New Jersey for their grand opening on Saturday, May 13th, or online at chubsywubsy.com. That's CHUBZYWUBZZY.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
Rewind and press play on your VHS collection with CGC. CGC is excited to announce our newest collectible vertical, CGC Home Video. As a division dedicated to authenticating and grading your VHS collection, our experts are ready to help you encapsulate your favorite video cassettes. Don't settle for static on the screen. Submit today at cgcgrading.com. That's cgcgrading.com.
Face it, shaker bottles suck. Your shakes always come out clumpy and they're a pain to clean.
You're right, Dave. That's why I decided to ditch my shaker bottle for good and get myself a BlendJet 2 portable blender. It makes perfectly blended shakes in just 20 seconds.
BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease.
BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. It lasts for over 15 blends and recharges quickly via USB-C.
Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go.
With an array of colors, patterns, or even Disney-inspired designs to choose from, show off your personality while you're blending up something delicious on the go.
What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today.
And be sure to use the promo code AICPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. No other portable blender on the market comes close to the quality, power, and innovation of the BlendJet 2. They guarantee you'll love it or your money back. Blend anytime, anywhere with the BlendJet 2 portable blender. Go to blendjet.com and use the code AICPOD12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. Shop today to get the best deal ever.
And now, back to the show.
So from kaiju to tokusatsu-based blast, it's the 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and Super 7 is on Wave 4. Tell us about what is going on in Angel Grove these days.
Man, it's a lot because, we're not the only ones who are making Power Ranger stuff. We mentioned stuff we just got in. I just got my 30th anniversary Lightning Collection.
The remasters.
These are super great.
Very cool.
But yeah, Wave 4 just solicited and did okay. It's a slightly reduced wave just because we wanted it to be focused on characters people really want. So like White Ranger and Tiger Zord and Madame Woe, who has never had a toy before. That was a fun experience because I got to reveal that at Power Morphicon last year. And that was like a big, I've never done a panel before that. So I got to and to reveal a new character who's never had a toy before was something very special. And she's going to be crazy because she's mostly soft goods. So it's going to be wild. And also I wanted to, not only because she never had a toy, but as a kid, she scared the hell out of me. Because she transports the Rangers to a nightmare realm where they can't Terrifying. Get out. It's horrible.
Terrifying.
So I was that needs a toy. Let's do that. See how many therapy bills we get in the mail.
I actually remember that character gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
And I was embarrassed to admit it to my friends who watched Power Rangers, but I was this character is far too terrifying for after school television.
Which is crazy, right? Because it's kind of compared to some of the wild monster designs, it's pretty tame looking, right?
Yeah. It's an existential fear.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're rolling on that. There's a wave 5 of Reaction that's I think almost done. I'm not sure when that's supposed to be released, but I've seen test shots of that. I'm not on Reaction anymore, so it's harder for me to stay up to date on what's coming in Reaction. But that was the last wave I did, so I know that one's coming at least. At least that's a plan. And then. Yeah, we're kind of trying to figure out what does the future of Rangers look like for us. I think in the near future, you might start to see some convention exclusives as I'm looking directly at one down here with my eyes. So I think you can expect to see that in a big convention that's coming up soon. But after that, kind of sky's the limit. I have plans for Wave 5 and beyond. But we kind of just need to check and see how sales do, right? I think it's not that it's struggling. I think that there's just like you said, there's a lot of not noise. It's just everybody's doing some kind of version of the Rangers, right? Yep. So that those dollars are divided, and that just you have to make as a collector, you have to make choices, right? I'm just one of those unwise collectors who doesn't make choices and just buys everything. But I keep looking in the mirror and be like, why can't I buy a house? And not thinking, not doing enough introspection. So,
hey, it's one of those things where, it's just, it's not so much that there's noise and you have to make choices. It's that everyone is doing the kind of like, how did I put this to somebody the other day? Like when you had one of your action figures as a kid, just whatever, whether it was a Batman or a Bandai Power Ranger figure, like simple articulated wrestling figure, LJN, right? In your head, when you were playing with these things as a kid, like our imaginations took over, and like we like an arm may have only been going like up and down, but like in our heads, like that character was doing backflips and like like was able to bend in ways that was not possible. Like it just our brains kind of filled in the gaps. And now here we are sitting as adults, and like these figures can actually do these things now. Like they can actually bend and articulate and do all of these crazy get into all these crazy positions that like the action figures in our imaginations could only do. So I think we're in a like our age group, our generation, whatever term you want to use, we're in this very, very intense situation where everybody is just kind of like swinging for the fences, and it's tough to say no. It's very tough to say no.
And you don't just have like we did where it was like there's one.
Yeah.
There's one Andre the Giant. There's one Power Ranger. There's one.
Only one person is making Ninja Turtles figures.
Yes. There's one, Michelangelo. And this is how you get it. Now there's like you have the choice, or you can, get what you want from all of them.
I mean,
there's no wrong
I
answer.
showed those remaster Lightning Collection figures. I have all the other ones. I have the glitter yellow, I have the normal yellow, and I have the 2-pack yellow from Scorpina. Did I buy this yellow too? Of course I did. Because I can't say no to a good Power Ranger figure. So,
and she can go like this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. So something else that unfortunately the community lost the Green Ranger this year. We lost Jason David Frank, very tragically. He has had such an impact on the collecting community, the fandom, his presence at cons, just you name it. The guy's legacy is incredible. What has it been like, as a designer, to have the opportunity to continue carrying on that legacy through figures of featuring his likeness?
I mean, there is no like comparison, like what he did for like Power Rangers and just honestly just kind of like fan conventions and engaging with fans, and like how celebrities view that it's I don't know, there'll be nobody else like him ever again. I think first of all, it was the first celebrity death I've ever cried over, so that was wild. Because I remember, because I was getting ready to go to Designer Con that day, and I like checked my phone, and I was like, "What?" And I was late that day. I didn't show up on time, and they were like, "Well, where were you?" And I was like, "Green Ranger died, man." So, and people who I wasn't working Super7 booth that day, but like people who know me at work as the Ranger guy, they're like, "Oh, that makes sense." They like even said sorry for your loss. I was like, I didn't know the guy, but it was a big deal. Still is. When we were working on Wave 4, it was actually slated to come out a little bit earlier than this past month, and we were actually working on the White Ranger likeness for Wave 4, like around the time that happened, and I don't know, it was kind of hard, because you're looking at all of this reference of him, just picture after picture. It's like, oh, does his nose look like that, or that kind of stuff? And it's like, man, like, I don't know, like it felt like a hole, but it also felt like, he was so important to this brand and to these fans, like that, like he is Power Rangers. Like it's hard to say otherwise. And so doing him like justice and trying to make the best likeness for him and the best figural representation, I don't know, it's weird and probably a little bit selfish to say, but it helped me kind of like come to terms with it. And I say that it's selfish just because I didn't know the guy. I was just a fan. But like White Ranger was my favorite as a kid. I'll tell an embarrassing story in that I did not know that the Green Ranger was a thing until I was like 14. Because by the time I got into Power Rangers, it was like 1994, 1995. Green Ranger stuff was long sold out, and he was never on the show again. So I was all about the White Ranger, specifically the Falcon Zord.
Yeah,
Like that's how late I got into Power Rangers, because it was just like slightly like I was alive, but I like didn't have comprehension. And so like White Ranger, Falcon Zord, like that was my guy. And so it was like the one I've been like waiting to do, super excited, and then like, oh, he died.
Yeah.
You know, so if anything, like I hope we did justice to him. And I know that the sculptor, same guy who did the Arnold head, is a huge fan. His name is Tom. He went by Tommy as a kid, like so. Tommy was like his guy as well, and I know that he really wanted to do him justice, and I think he nailed it. So again, I think it's been cool to be able to like try and honor him in the way that we know how, using the skill sets that we have. And I'm not sure that registers with people. And like I said, I do feel weird about it a little bit, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I don't really have any other ways to contribute to his legacy other than action figures, and I was grateful for the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and I mean, I think too, it's important to recognize, you know, you're in a unique position where, you know, you are a fan of the character, of the actor, of you know, of the person, and you have this opportunity to kind of translate, you know, the passion that you have for that character, you know, into something that is feasibly going into the hands of, you know, thousands of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's really cool, and I'm right there with you. I was starting to kind of age out of Power Rangers, you know, as kind of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was ending, but like the height of it for me was that movie with Ivan Ooze and, you know, the White Ranger. Like when I close my eyes and think of the Power Rangers, I think of the movie costumes, those like bulky leather versions of them.
The motorcycle outfits.
Yeah. But that Falcon Zord was great as a kid. Like I loved the thing I loved about that Zord for a moment, just as a tangent.
Yeah.
I loved that when you folded the wings so that like the rockets were facing forward, that you could also tilt the head down so it was looking like down the barrel at its own. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. I'm a big. That was my first Lightning collection figure. I don't have many, but when they put out the White Ranger the first time, I was like, yeah, I need this. This is something. This is something I need.
He was my second one. First one I got was Zed, which was a gift from a coworker. And I was like, oh, this is pretty great. Like, do I need Power Rangers again? And then I saw like what, and I was like, all right, I need Power Rangers again. So it was really cool. It's funny that you mentioned the movie, because that was also like peak Power Rangers for me, but not the actual movie. So I don't remember if I talked about this, but do you guys remember this movie with Macaulay Culkin a long, long time ago in the 90s called The Page Master?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
awesome movie.
Great movie. Where's my Page Master reaction at? Anyways, but
you know, there's this company that
have you thought of? Yeah. So I got that VHS as a kid, like the like air cushioned white plasticky, you know what I'm talking about. On that VHS, when back in the day when you said VHSs, there used to be trailers before the actual movie you watched. One of the trailers on the Page Master VHS was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie. And I mentioned it in the last time I was here, but I was never allowed to watch Power Rangers as a kid because my parents thought it was too violent. So it became like forbidden fruit. I got to go to my cousin's house. I got to go to my friend's house so I can just get it at all. Anyway, they'd still buy me toys. They'd still like let me dress up as a Power Ranger for Halloween, but I couldn't watch it, which feels ass backwards in hindsight. But I'm not going to critique my own parents here, even though I just did. But
twice in one episode.
That's right. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mom. But the thing with that is like, because the only thing I had was this Page Master, I watched the trailer for the movie 8 billion times, like, give or take. It was like to the point where like that part of the VHS is like worn down. Like it like started to get the lines and stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Because it was like so bad. But yeah, that trailer where they're like snowboarding out of an airplane for no reason
It is
to Van Halen.
90s.
Yeah.
It is the most 90s trailer.
Oh man. So
pure 90s.
If we ever make civilian Rangers, which I would love to do, you better believe that Tommy's going to come with a snowboard, fall out of a plane with.
So. The white tank top.
No, he wears it's like a button-up shirt that doesn't have sleeves.
Oh, that's right. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's almost like a crop top. It's weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, so 90s.
This is for relaxing and lacrosse.
That's right.
Oh man.
Anyways, so R.I.P. JDF.
Moving on to our love of music and that heavy metal category. One of the things that we all have in common, is our love for Ghost. So it's getting around that time. There's an EP coming out.
There is.
How are we feeling about Papa 4's outlook?
As in, is he gonna bite it? 100% he is. I mean, it's the role, right? These guys are introduced into the band only so that they will die eventually. So I'm actually pretty stoked because I think I'm gonna be there for it too. So
that end of the tour in California.
Yes, I will be at the last tour date where a Monomarth isn't playing and they don't let you have your cell phone in there. So something's happened. They're either filming something like a live set, which would be awesome to be part of, or it's gonna bite the dust. So
which means that they're also filming.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are, because typically they don't film that. It's usually like fan footage that gets out of a Papa's death.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it,
they've never done like a live DVD or anything.
I'm of the so here. My theory is he's gonna kind of Scooby-Doo his way out of it.
Explain. What is
so like? It's almost kind of one of those like, or like Naked Gun his way out of it. Like they're gonna drop a safe and it's gonna fall right behind him, and he's gonna be like, "What?"
Okay, all right.
And somehow manage to get one more album out of this character.
Could you imagine?
I mean, out of Papa 4.
Could you imagine just for a moment? Because I did not think about that. Imagine he escapes.
Yeah.
And and he does a solo album as Papa Emeritus 4, but like they do like a whole like spin-off.
Yeah.
Where it's like him doing like a solo album while he's basically being hunted.
Because he's already been the only character that's had 2 albums.
Correct. That is correct. Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah.
I felt like Nil technically, but he's not the leader. He only plays sax on Prequel.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's actually not like a bad idea. Like I kind of like, I don't know, I feel like there was some dude from the 60s, like a Jim Morrison or like a John Lennon, who was like went out into the wilderness and like recorded something and like started like drop. I can't remember who that is. Maybe I'm making it up for like my own headcanon, but that's a great idea actually.
That would be hilarious. Plus, like I absolutely they've really hit their stride with what they're doing on YouTube and the the chapters and everything, and he's just such a he's such a good character.
3 I thought was going to be hard to beat, but like this whole since the end of 3, like this has been peak storytelling for them.
Yeah,
I still think that aesthetically 3 is the best one. Personally,
I agree.
I like 4. There are parts of 4 that I like, but I think that His like main blue outfit is like a little overwrought in my opinion, but I think that's part of the character is like get the plastic surgery to make myself hot. Let's put as much gold and jewels on my thing as we possibly can, right? Whereas the other guys were a little bit simpler.
He's the 80s metal guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I think 2 had the best like Pope gear, and 3 has the best like dressed down.
Oh, that like
version.
That like Major D outfit that he wears.
Yeah. That's.
See, I think 3 is hands down. I think the best visually,
aesthetically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although 4, when he was still the Cardinal and he came out in the white suit for that one tour, like that ruled too. So
he was the first one to have like multiple costume changes, which as a toy designer is like, all right, look at all these all these recolors I can do now.
Yep.
But
very toyetic.
Yeah.
Very say what you will, whether you're a fan of the music or not, and if you're not a fan of the music, I feel very badly for you. But if say what you will, they're very toyetic. Very toyetic.
And I think we said this last time too. The only the way you'll fall in love with them is the way Eric did, which is if you don't like the music, once you see them live, you're going to be like, I understand. This
100%. That is the conversion moment for so many people.
It 100% was for me. I mean, I remember hearing a couple of the songs and going like,
Eric was like, we have to go on time because like I just want to see Iron Maiden. I'm like, we are absolutely going on time because I love this band and you will too after this.
And I dragged my feet. I was like, I don't want to see them. This is gonna be boring. The only songs that I had heard were like,
as soon as the square hammer hit to open, he was like, all right, we're good.
Yeah, I think that was like the only song that I had heard actually was Square Hammer, and I was like, it's catchy. Like I'm a musician, so like I was like, it's fine. Like this is fine, but like I'm here to see Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
And when their set was done, my reaction was like literally, is that it? Like they're not going to play longer? Like I get like another hour of this, maybe?
Great, good. Are you guys going on this tour now? This one that's coming up, you think?
So they're not the closest they're coming to us is Camden, which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours south.
Yeah, it's a tough venue to get to.
Is
and
that a lot for you guys? I feel like I drive that all the time being in California.
It's 2.5 hours without traffic.
Okay.
From me. And it's not in the best of areas. I
mean, do you like Ghost or not? That's
yeah.
But like we did see them. Unfortunately, I was traveling. I was on vacation the last time they came to like the venue that we always go to for them. Yeah. But I've now got my wife is I've roped my wife in, and my 7-year-old that I mentioned before, she loves them too. Unfortunately, nice. I couldn't show her the latest music video. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, no,
she's heard the song.
There's just the one part that then I was like, nah, the whole thing. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, so it's a good thing.
Bridgeport, I guess Bridgeport's close to Connecticut. It's the same amount in the opposite direction.
It's a good thing that Dave said, "Don't watch this with Maddie," because I totally would have just been like, "Oh, there's a new Ghost music video," bloop, and would have put it on. I would have gone, I've
made a huge mistake.
I have some things that I need to figure out how to explain. Yeah, but I think you're right. I think you're going to see something, Kyle, at your show. But
if you don't end up going, let me know, and I can get shirts or merch or whatever you need to.
Okay.
So
we'll definitely keep you posted.
I would say that you should, though, because based on this conversation alone, it's likely the last time you'll ever see Papa 4 alive. And then insert like dramatic hamster music right here.
Dun dun dun. Yeah. So while the Ghost offering,
I've coincidentally I've actually thought about September in LA.
Oh.
My girlfriend and I have actually thought about that.
Well, you're gonna be. When are you going to Vegas? Isn't that September?
That's like 3 weeks later.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Can
there goes
just
that.
walk
Yeah.
from LA to Vegas. It'll take you 3 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would have been like, since that's Tuesday, it would have been like a get out Sunday, leave like Wednesday.
So, speaking of Ghost, the ultimates that we've mentioned, and the reaction figures have been a blast. But they are not the only music figures you work on. With ultimates of Cliff Burton, Lemmy, and King Diamond, are there more members of this plastic super group on the horizon? You're just constantly collecting these these iconic like figures of rock
Legends.
and metal. So who else are we adding to this band?
I mean,
do you have any hints for us?
There's probably some future versions of existing guys coming. They're like we mentioned, there's like 7 papas we could be doing potentially. King Diamond has a lot of costume changes, as we illustrated with the first appearance Merciful Fate one, which will be shipping very soon.
Very cool.
So,
very cool.
Excited about that. Soft goods. For those at home, I'm showing this off to them, and you don't get to see. So, I mean, Cliff Burton had a couple different looks as well. Lemmy had multiple different outfit changes. What's interesting about all those figures is that a lot of those guys, we've done their like early appearances, and not the ones that people necessarily know them for, right? Like I would say Cliff, we did the one that people know, the Day on the Green outfit with the like Aria bass. But Lemmy, like everybody remembers, like Cowboy Lemmy, right?
Yep. I was just gonna say, like, the
and Solo King Diamond is the more
haunted groundskeeper King Diamond with his like lantern, right? So I think that there's some opportunities there. I think that Slayer has some pretty cool mascots that could become a thing lately. Sort of, at least sky's the limit in terms of like the stuff that we already have. I think that there are some like, not necessarily ultimates, but like there's some other offerings in reaction that'll be coming soon that I think people are going to be really, really excited about. And typically what happens is we experiment with a brand in reaction, but when we get the license, we get reaction and ultimates, and we test the waters with reaction because it's a little bit smaller of a buy-in, because after all, this is a business. But if it goes off like a rainbow in the dark, then hey, maybe we should do an ultimate of this, right? And that's exactly what happened with King Diamond and Ghost and Lemmy and Cliff Burton. And so, if you want an ultimate of certain characters that you like, if you see a reaction figure of it, buy that, because that'll help you get more members of those supergroups.
Listen, at the end of the day, Kyle, I'm just a $billion baby, just waiting for school to be out.
Yeah, I wish that we got $1 billion from that one.
No, but that
I heard Rainbow in the Dark, and
that was intentional, sir.
Did you now? Did you now?
Man.
Yeah, but the one that I honestly like, I'm surprised with all of the the reaction, because Brian said the same thing when he was on the show, that like it's kind of like the testing waters, which makes complete sense, and I mean that's a very, very smart way to go about it. I'm dying for. I was hoping when the Alice Cooper ones came out, like I was just hoping that they did really well, because that's one that I want. I would love an Alice Cooper ultimate.
My 3 favorite reactions that I bought were the it's not metal, but it's phenomenal. I bought the Sabotage.
Beastie Boys ones. Those are great too.
Yeah, the Beastie Boys.
Those have done well. I think there's a potential there, especially just they're kind of just normal dudes who sort of wear the same outfit. There's probably some reuse that can be done there intelligently to try and kind of amortize that tooling cost, but who knows? That was my designer brain, or cap on right there. what was I saying? But yeah, Alice Cooper would be awesome. Which version of Alice Cooper would you want in your ultimate? Because to me, I'm very boring. I would want the Welcome to My Nightmare, like in the top hat, because I love that. I love Drew Struzan, and I love that like Lion Decker, Arrow Collar Man kind of nod. But that's probably more of a reaction play than an ultimates. But I would want that anyway.
I mean, like, Feed My Frankenstein era Alice Cooper is probably the most toyetic.
Mhm.
I was thinking like Constrictor era because of the Friday the 13th song.
Yep. Because I was gonna say at that point, he's got all the accessories. He's got the face paint is in like the territory of being more toyetic. He's got the snake. He's got it's like he's fully accessorized.
Yeah. What's the one? What's the one of him in the straight jacket? Is that Ballad of Dwight Fry?
You're making me have to look.
No,
it up.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But there's also like Muppet Show appearance where he's like in a full-on Dracula outfit, which would be pretty sick. Honestly, what I'm realizing is that there's like other figures that I could probably just sculpt Alice Cooper head and put on to an existing figure, like a naked Dracula could get an Alice Cooper head, and then now it's the Muppet Show Alice Cooper. Who knows?
Yes, Ballad of Dwight Fry. Okay. That's right. With the straight jacket.
Yeah. But if we're gonna do a straight jacket, I feel like I'd rather do Peace of Mind.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
Well, I mean, that's my number one metal request is like an ultimate Eddie, like Killer's Eddie in the yellow shirt and the torn jeans and the chucks. Like that would be like if I could snap my fingers and bring one heavy metal ultimate into existence, it would be Eddie.
Oh, see, I'd
go
like Live After Death. I'd go like Peace of Mind, Power Slave. Like,
do you guys not have the NECA ones then?
I have the Trooper.
Okay,
I have the NECA Trooper, which I love. Great figure. Those earlier NECA ones, like they're almost in that like McFarlane statuary, category. They're locked at the hips. They don't have, the legs don't move. They're great sculpts. Like they look great, but like I want them to be able to play ball with the rest of the figures. So I'm and the cloth ones like the Trooper, again, great figure, but it's 8 inches tall.
Yeah.
It's big, so it doesn't really scale right with everything.
But isn't Eddie canonically bigger? Like if you're looking at the stage costume version of like the Trooper guy, right? He's like 10 feet tall.
He should be even bigger than that.
I guess you're right. Okay. So,
but yeah, I think the way that you guys handle the music ultimates and stuff outside of that the cloth look, I think I think Eddie would be a killer addition to ultimates. Pun intended that time.
I would love to make Eddie. Aces High or Power Slave would be sick. Peace of Mind too would be rad. I feel like I want to just make like a base Eddie body and then do like the stuff on top of it, just because then you have built-in iterations, right? Like Senjutsu or the only one that doesn't really work like that is Cyborg Eddie. Like that would be a whole new sculpt, but how sick would that be, right?
Somewhere in Time Eddie, that would rule.
Yeah. Stranger in a Strange Land with a soft goods duster.
Even that newer album, the Book of Souls Eddie, like in like the tribal paint and everything, awesome design.
It's a sick design.
The only one you can't really do is like Nebulous Cloud, Brave New World,
or Seventh Son,
Galactus Eddie,
right? Where he's
just
for the torso, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, I mean that would be a cool one. We've done Iron Maiden in the past, but I think some of the rights are a little bit not questionable. They're just with other people right now. So who knows where we'll have our opportunity one day. So.
All right. So before we head into our last question, it is time for our Q&A. So if this is the first time you're listening to Adventures in Collecting, welcome. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. You're enjoying this episode. You're enjoying our chat here with Kyle.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for listening.
But something that we do every time we have a guest on is we'll post on Instagram and Twitter, and we'll post that we have a certain guest on and give people the opportunity to submit questions, and we will ask them on behalf of you. So
so if you're not there, smash that subscribe button and hit those likes, hit the little hearts, and answer the form that has the question
Notification bell too,
and that way we could see your question and
every time,
add it to the Q&A.
Every time. Oh my god. So you'll need to follow us at AIC_podcast in order to do all of the things that Dave just told you to do on the internets. So we have 3 questions. We've we put this down to 3.
Yeah, we have 3.
Right. So the first question came from a bunch of people who asked the same thing. And that is, do we have any updates on the Turtle Van?
Yeah. So Turtle Van, we were reworking some of the tooling. There were some parts that we weren't 100% happy with. And for the price point, this thing needs to come out perfectly. So we were working on some of that stuff. And we just got the revised test shots of it. And one of the benefits of a post-pandemic world is that we are all working remotely. I work in San Diego. Some of our team works in LA, and our headquarters are in San Francisco. But, when we have a huge team like that and everybody needs to take a look at it, sometimes that can take a little bit longer to look at stuff. We build this into the schedule to try and accommodate for that. But all of this is to say that right now the Party Wagon is on a road trip down to me. So it flew from our overseas partners to our headquarters, where Flynn and Josh looked at it and had all of their comments, and then it started riding the rails, hitchhiking like a hobo all the way down to LA, where it looked at the production manager. It was at his house where he gave his notes, and then now it is bumming rides all the way down to San Diego, so I can look at it and make my comments. And once we get to that, we'll get into deco sampling and all that fun stuff. And all goes well, it should be shipping around early December, January or so.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm very excited because I have not seen it in person yet. I've only done digital images, and so I sort of like when I saw the Godzilla stuff for the first time, like at scale, I was like, oh, dang, that's really big. It's a little bit of like, oh, what have I done? I'm imagining a very similar experience here, because it's something stupid like 18 by 24 or something. I don't remember. It's huge.
It's like when everyone got that Thunder tank.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's smaller than a Thunder tank. So I got that going for me. But it's not by much.
It might have actually taken the PC.
Yeah. I'm going to make my notes to the factory. Like, tires are really worn. It's like, because you drove it here.
Threadbare.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, you want to do the next one?
Yeah, so speaking of vehicles, at J Raymond asks, what are the chances that we see more vehicles from Super 7 like the MMPR motorcycles?
Man, I would love to do the battle bikes. Those are some of my favorite vintage toys. I have all 3 of them. I need to get on my shark cycles, but those original like dyno battle bikes, the red, blue, and black, are like so cool. I think that would be great. I think, we would need to see just how far this line continues to go, just because like Turtles didn't get their first vehicle till it was like, I think it was like wave 6 or 7, something like that. We're only on wave 4 here. Like, we don't even have a core team for them all to be riding right now. So I feel like I'd rather deliver on that core team, so you have all 6 or 7 Rangers in your display, and you're like, okay, they look great posed together. Now what can they ride? Then you're ready to get those vehicles, get those play sets, that kind of stuff. So specifically MMPR, I think it'll be a little bit more time before we get to do that, but I think you might start to see some other kind of bigger projects from us sometime soon. We have plenty of other of brands that have vehicles that are pretty iconic, like Thundercats or GI Joe and that kind of stuff. So I would say stay tuned, because we've always got something that we're working on.
All right. And our last question comes from friend of the pod and frequent question asker, at Ryan Ting.
Good dude.
And excellent dude.
For sure.
Has there been an example of a crazy callback or obscure detail uncovered when researching an Ultimate that you've ultimately worked into the figure? And an addendum to this, also, he wanted to remind me to ask you if you even lift, bro.
That Conan video will be the highlight of my career forever, I think. Let's see. That's a good question, Ryan. There's definitely there's interesting details that you see as you're working on these like older brands, especially ones that are aimed towards children. You could where they cut corners or whatever, and so it's nobody cares. It's kids. No one's gonna worry about continuity or whatever, right? Here, so specifically, I'm thinking Power Rangers. If you there's two of them that come to mind for that. It's not we put Tommy's back tattoo or on a figure or something like that. That would be ridiculous, and licensor would say no. But so we were working on the Megazord for Wave 3, and there's some footage of the Megazord where you can see the dude's armpit who's in the show, in the suit, or he fights this other robot that we were working on, where the Zord comes out of the ground, and it's this super zoomed in shot, and the head of the robot has a triangular mask that comes down to a point for the chin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just dark between the chin and the sides of the helmet, and in the dark sections you can see the dude's eyeballs poking through. And so I we worked on this sculpt, and we haven't released this figure yet, so people who know Power Rangers could probably figure out who I'm talking about, but I won't say. But if the way that the head is constructed, you have to pull the face mask apart just for drafting and molding and all that. You take if this figure ever comes out, if you feel brave enough to rip the face mask off of this figure, you will see two sculpted eyeballs underneath. You glue the mask on top so you can never see it, so it doesn't matter. So that's fun. And
Easter egg eyeballs.
Yeah. And this was good. And I was I stalled long enough because I thought of another example after that. So with Power Rangers, if you look at King Sphinx, I realized that our friends over at Hasbro kind of caught some heat for not painting their whole figure with the wings or the face or whatever, and that's costing is costing. You make decisions as a designer that sometimes you yourself are not stoked on. So I get it, but if you look at that the reference of that character, you can tell that once the American production company got that costume, it started falling apart. There's duct tape on it, and then they spray painted red or gold or blue on top of it to hide that stuff, but it kept falling apart. And so as you go on in the episode, his wings get more and more colorful because they're trying to cover up the fact that it's just deteriorating. And so for ours, we went with the full color, breathe on this thing wrong and it'll fall apart version, because it's multicolored with all the blues and the reds and the duct tape and stuff. You didn't put duct tape on it, but
You sculpted duct tape texture.
We sculpted duct tape texture into the party wagon. That was a me thing because I remember janky buses and how you just duct tape those seats. But yeah, so King Sphinx, I think in a world at one point, what I'm trying to say is that Hasbro's Lightning Collection King Sphinx had the correct deco at one point, but then it eventually got so much color on it because it was falling apart in the American version that's what people remembered. So Hasbro was right all along. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the last example I can think of, that was for you, Ryan, is we working on the reaction Toho Wave 2 Gigan, like just came out. Super fun. I love that figure. I really like how it turned out. The wings that he has, it's like three kind of saw blade looking things, if you're familiar with Gigan at all. And that's a glue in piece as well. And the sculptor, this lovely woman by the name of Tessa, they said, hey, look at this. This has to be molded this way. And they put like a cross, like a cross section on the back of the wings that would then lock into the body, right? Just kind of like square peg, square hole, that stuff. But it looked like a Christian cross. Okay. Me being the idiot and metalhead that I was like, this is all good. This looks great, but flip the cross upside down. And they were like, what, really? I was like, yeah, do that. And they're like, okay. And so if you, again, are brave enough to destroy your own figure, you should be able to see an upside down cross on the inside of Gigan. I'm sorry, Toho, please don't cancel our license for that.
Hell,
That's right.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to the end of our Q&A. You have survived.
You did
Round
it.
2.
You did it. You absolutely did it. And now you get one more surprise.
Yeah.
So as a returning guest, we have to kind of change our ending here. So Dave, would you like to fulfill your role as this podcast's James Lipton and ask our final question?
Well, yes, I would. So, as a returning guest, you have already answered the final question that we ask to all of our guests. So, we have prepared an alternative final question for you. What is the one toy or collectible that you've always wanted but have never been able to own?
Oh man, this one's harder. I'm actually not that prepared for it, but I think I have two answers here for you, and one of them's like a half answer because I had it, but then I had to give it back. So first one is the Gargoyles Castle playset. I remember from Kenner. I remember wanting that as a kid. Never got it. Thought it was the coolest. Gargoyles were my jam. It's not to say that I was like Gargoyles starved. Like I had the Road Ripper bike with Brooklyn and stuff, which was such a cool toy. It had like the stone facade you could like pull off of it because the bike's a gargoyle too.
Everything's a gargoyle.
That's right. But I remember wanting that castle playset and being like, oh man, how cool would that be? Just have this huge thing. And I realized it's kind of affordable. It's like I think a mint in box one is like $200 now. So I could probably get it if I wanted to, but it's like I almost don't even want it now. It's better on the internet in the box what I think it is rather than it's this. Ew. So
plus you probably don't have any of the figures anymore. So
no, I don't have any of my figures. That's another one of my big regrets was I think in 6th grade, my parents had a garage sale, and it's not like they took my stuff and sold it. They were like, oh, what do you want to sell? And I was like, I don't play with these, take these. And it was like everything I ever cared about now as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I did a bunch of that too, unfortunately.
Same.
We've all made that mistake. But the other one that comes to mind is as I've gotten more into kaiju collectibles, I am starting to realize and sort of discover the world of X Plus. Anybody who knows what those are, they're like big, huge vinyls that are as close to movie accurate suits as you can get, like in hand. And there's quite a few Godzilla ones that I would of course love, like a Burning Godzilla and stuff, that go for stupid amounts of money now. But the one X Plus that I've always wanted is the X Plus Daijujin, which is the Megazord from Power Rangers. They made it one time, like a few years ago, and it is now like $1,500 to $3,000 on eBay. And I am happy to say that I had a brief a brief stint with it, in that one of our associates who used to work at Super7 with us, huge Power Ranger guy, really great friend too, and very connected in the toy world. His name is Augie Perez. He's a Toy Migo now. He knows just about everybody in the Ranger world, and he knows this guy named Casey. Casey Gall, I'm shouting you out because you're a huge help. Casey owned the X Plus Daijujin, and I wanted to reference the X Plus Daijujin as like my Megazord reference for my Ultimate, because I knew that is like the best, most well like loved and respected version of the Megazord ever made. And so he was very generous in that he sent me his X Plus Daijujin, like basically free of charge, and was like, send it back to me when you're done. I held on to that for like 2 years. I'm only mentioning this now because I like just sent it back like last week, and I had like major separation anxiety. And I asked him, I was like, hey, can I buy this off of you? And he just laughed at me. So, so I sent it back, and I have a little, like, you can kind of see it here. There's like a big robot shaped hole in my collection where it used to sit for my reference shelves. So one of these days I will get that thing again, but it's incredible. It's like 20 inches tall, comes with the sword and the shield, and it's perfect. So
what's larger, the hole it left on your shelf or the hole it left in your heart?
To it.
I think it's going to be the hole it leaves in my wallet when I eventually buy it, because I for sure will.
Good answer.
None of the above is the answer.
Well, Kyle, listen, before we let you go, remind our listeners, where can they find you on the internet? Where can they find Super7? Tell them where to go.
So go to the internet, specifically Instagram. I am Wlodyga Dude on there. I'm sure you guys will have links so that the poor folks don't have to spell my last name, as difficult as that is. So I'm Wlodyga Dude. I also started a toy photography account that I've been like messing around with called Kyle of Loot. Or Kyle O Flute, thanks to the enablers.
I was gonna say, I thought it was Kyle O Flute.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Mike. So there's that. I don't post there as much as I like to, but I'm trying to get more into it. I'm starting to buy dioramas and try lighting and that kind of stuff, just because I see all the amazing things that people do in the community. I'm trying to do it myself. And then Super7, find us Super7 on Instagram, Super7.com, Super7 YouTube channel. I think we have a TikTok now. Just, anywhere that has internet, you type in Super7, you'll probably find us.
There you go. And as Kyle mentioned, we'll absolutely put links to all of those in the description, so you don't have to worry about throwing consonants at a wall.
All of the letters are silent.
Good luck. Phonetics don't work. Yeah, but Kyle, as always, man, thank you so much for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure having you. Let's not wait a year and a half until have you come back on again. We could do these things sooner. I'd
hate for you guys to run out of last questions to ask. So,
that's Dave's favorite thing to do. He's
I already have another ready
good.
for you. So,
yep.
There was two to choose from.
Right.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like we have to do it again.
Part 3.
Yeah.
Part 3, the rubber match.
Trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody won. There's no
rubber match. Brain soup. I like that. It's soup. It solidifies. It just goes back and forth. Dave, send us home.
Are you on the square? Are you on the level? Is your brain made of soup? Bye, everyone.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azzari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.